this computer. So we're recording. Logan and Molly, it's so good to see you all.
You
You
too.
too.
And greetings from Rincon and your church family here that is going to get to know you, I hope, in the coming years, now that we support you.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you all for that.
And Rincon family, this is Logan and Molly Copley. They have a little girl named Elias, right?
Lilius.
Lilius.
Lilius. Why did I say Elias? Because I'm Lilius, which we actually have someone in the church whose wife is named Lilius. And they're expecting number 2 in March. So Logan and Molly serve in Novi Sad, Serbia, work alongside of the folks at the school and are very much engaged in ministry there. And I'm just going to ask Logan and Molly some questions so you as Rincon family can know them and know how we can pray for them. So Logan and Molly, just tell us a little bit about yourselves for those who don't know the story of where you're from and how you ended up in Serbia.
Yes, so we're from Georgia, Columbus, Georgia. It's right on the Alabama line. And Molly and I met at the church there. A little after I became a Christian, about 11 years ago, I felt the Lord calling me into ministry. And shortly after that, I realized that it would be cross-cultural missions. And so since that time, I've really just been working towards that. And Molly and I, we actually met in a missions class at our church, Perspectives on the World Missions. And it was through that the Lord brought us together, and we knew that we wanted to serve the Lord overseas. So we, after we were married, we began seminary training, and then we moved here after raising support. So it wasn't really clear that we would do theological education at the time. We were first maybe thinking it could be Bible translation, church planning, but as we heard about these opportunities for theological education, we realized that this is what the Lord was calling us to.
Okay, wonderful. Molly, what's it like learning language in Serbia for a mom with a little girl?
Oh my. Well, when you're married to a linguist, it is a little bit tougher. It's really exciting at the beginning. You're figuring out how to get around, how to ask for things. And then, for example, Serbian is not so easy for an English speaker. So you just have to pray and ask the Lord to keep you motivated. I have come to terms with the fact that once my daughter goes to school, she will be teaching me Serbian. She will be speaking much better than I will. And I look forward to that day. But, I just have to keep pressing on.
Yeah. So what does ministry look like now? You've been there a little over a year. You've left for COVID. You've come back. What are you currently doing? And then I'll circle back and we'll ask, what can we pray for?
Right. So a typical day looks like language learning. So for me, it means reading in Serbian, working on listening comprehension, trying to speak as much as I can with people. I'm reading Harry Potter in Serbian right now.
Oh.
So
probably the best literature there is in Serbian, probably. So.
Yeah. So and so that's kind of like one aspect of it. Additionally, working on preparing for classes. I'm teaching in December on Bible backgrounds, which basically means what are the historical and cultural influences on the Old and New Testament writers. And so to help students see how we can better understand the Bible in light of these influences on them, and how the Bible really stands apart from a lot of literature in the ancient Near East, how God didn't have to fight against other gods to create the world. He was able to speak it into existence and sovereignly was able to do that. And so I'm excited about teaching that class in the spring. We'll begin teaching Biblical Greek here, which will be another great tool for the students as they are approaching the scriptures. And, it's our hope that as the students are able to learn Greek and Hebrew, that it will give them greater confidence and boldness in their preaching and teaching, because we know just historically how the Greek New Testament was so influential in Martin Luther's life and the beginning of the Reformation there in Germany. And so those are the typical things that we're working on every day: language learning and preparing for classes. Molly's day looks a little bit different. I'll let you.
What's your day, Molly? What's it like to be a missionary in Novi Sad? Not many churches. What's all that like for you? Making Christian friends?
Right. So thankfully, through the ministry of BTS, I have been able to meet other women who are believers. So that has been the main way that I have been able to make friends here. It can be lonely being a mom of a 2.5-year-old and expecting another little one in March. But 3 times a week, I am able to get out, and we have a wonderful babysitter who comes and plays with our little girl in the mornings, and I'm able to get out and go to language class. So that is helps my sense of normalcy and just getting out and having a routine. And then we spend time outside and at the parks and doing all things that 2.5-year-olds love. So my day looks definitely different. But going along with ministry, I have started taking over the publishing arm of BTS. And so I'm just starting to take over those administrative duties and making sure we have what we need to get more books printed in Serbian and published in Serbian, just to be a benefit to the believers here, which is really exciting.
And that's a project this church has really embraced.
Yes,
Right.
yes, and thank you so much. That's just such a gift.
Right, because right now we are working on beginning the translation of an introduction to the New Testament. We have recently finished a book by Jerry Bridges, Respectable Sins. Y'all have paid to translate Everyone's a Theologian, Peacemaker. So like books that are not only theologically helpful, but have a great practical application as well for the believers here, because sadly there really is a dearth of Christ-centered, biblically based resources in this region. And so it's your gifts towards that goal are going much farther than you can imagine here.
Good. Well, each of you want to share a prayer request. So because we'll be praying for you. We're recording this during the week, but we'll be praying for you on Sunday. And then this will get posted on our YouTube channel so people get familiar. So prayer request.
I would say for me, just wisdom in parenting. We are in full-blown toddler stage with our precious little one. And so there are days that can be very tough, as all mothers know, and fathers. There are good days and there are bad days. So just wisdom as we raise her, and especially as we raise her in a culture that does not know Christ, and knowing that she will not hear of Christ very often outside her home. So just that God would use us to disciple her well, to teach her about Christ, and to help us get through toddler meltdowns.
And Lilius is a very social child and active, right?
Yes.
Very active, very social.
Yes.
Logan?
I would say for me, pray as I'm preparing for teaching, and that Christ would be glorified in the classroom, that the students would grow in their knowledge of Him, their love for Him, and pray as well as we're looking to begin a Bible study in our home. that, this is sort of rare here in Serbia. Like discipleship is not really emphasized in the churches. So we're, hoping that the Lord would use this to encourage the believers here, and that even unbelievers would come and hear the good news of the gospel. And that, maybe the Lord would use this sort of as like the foundation of maybe a church plant here in our city, because sadly there is no solid church here in Novi Sad, and even though it's the second largest city in Serbia. So that, that's something that we're praying for and hoping that, God would do.
And when you say a Bible study at home is rare, you mean like you may be the second one to do it in the city? I mean, rare to us means there are only 500 of them in the city.
Yeah. So rare would be certainly
non-existent.
maybe maybe non-existent.
Not that we know of. We
Yeah.
don't know of any Bible studies in people's houses. Unfortunately, there is I take that back. There is one Bible study that we know of that is good, that is going through a book of the Bible. But yeah, we would love to just be a part of meeting that need.
Well, we'll pray for that, because that's a wonderful opportunity. And thank you for letting RinCon folks get to know you a little bit.
Yeah, thank
Thanks.
you. It's